Hello, and welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole. We are on episode 43, and today we're going to be talking about a famous myth and a nice located mound you might know of in Western Ireland. So, for those of you that are new here, this is Down the Rabbit Hole. I do have four other podcasts, Dark Academia Queen, Just a Breezy Chat, Sassy Sun Bell, and True Crime Lounge. So, the True Crime Lounge, Dark Academia, and this one kind of coincide with each other. Whereas Sassy Sun Bell and Just a Breezy Chat don't really go with these topics right here. But for those of you that are new here, please hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, subscribe, help a girl out. But today we're going to be talking about Knockma Hill in Finvorra. So, Knockma Hill is officially known as Knockmegna. It is the largest mound found in Western Ireland, and this area is said to be home of the Celtic fairy Finvorra. Now, Finvorra is the king of IC, which is a group of fairies found in Celtic mythology. And Finvorra and his fairies have been closely linked with the area's crops. When they won the battle, the crops were bloomed and hay was healthy and became healthy. So, if an aura was away from home or its surroundings area, it was disturbed by a battle, then it would experience famine. Now, some legends even name Finmara the ruler or king of the dead, and Knockma Hill contains few giant corns of prehistoric origin, one of which is said to be a burial place of the fairy king. Now, who is Finvara? Also known as so. In some legends, he is the ruler of the dead, and he is a benevolent figure associated with horses and ensures good harvest and rewards mortals with riches. So, according to legend, Finvara lives beneath Knockmegna or Knockma Hill, and the hill is traditionally associated with fairies, and there is a corn hill marked Finvara's castle on at least one map. So let's talk about mythology for a second. We all know I love good mythology. I love a good urban myth, but I also love Greek mythology and Roman mythology. I also love Celtic mythology. But anyway, Finbar plays a role in the Fenian cycle of the bardic poetry, where he is one of the Tuatha De Danann, and Finvar is mentioned in the Agama na Sianoch, and Altrium Tega da Mahara, Finbar, Mita is one of the Denoms who became the ruler of the hill of Mimha, and after they were driven underground by Malegians. Now a violent argument was with his brother, and which after insulting one of Agnes's foster daughters, he has 17 sons, two, the Akalam na Sonrich, and his one poem it is said that Maham gave him a wonderful born named named Bragna Banacha. Sorry if I'm butchering these names up, I am terrible at names. But what about folklore? Well, there's many legends of his connection to Knockma that survived into later folklores, where he was considered to be the king of fairies, particularly in Conrad. Now, local beliefs held that the doings of the fairies influenced the local crops. Whenever Finvara lived on the hill, it was a good year in the country, and when he was absent, it was a bad year. Now, his hurling matches affected the health of the crops. When his people defeated the fairies in other provinces, the crops bloomed, and this was a rivalry between the monster king and Finora. Now, famine was attributed to the disturbances in the fairy world, and one folk informant claimed to have been good people fighting in the sky of Nagma. And according to the many tales, Fimara would invite humans into his underground place for feast. Now, Finvorra had a beautiful queen. Her name was Una. In other versions, Nuala, and he was often still human women as lovers. And in his stories of Ethna the Bride, he kidnaps Ethna, the loveliest woman in Ireland, and her husband is able to win her back by digging into the fairy hill of Knockma, salting the earth, and Ethna returns but falls into a deep sleep, since Finvara has kept her soul. Now, her husband revives her by removing a girdle of a fairy pen from her dress by the fairies, and when Finvara role as ruler of the dead, this story bears a resemblance to the Ballad of Sir Orpheus. It also has similarities to the story of Mitre and Etain. Now, there is also another story, and this is about a man who foolishly stays out late on Halloween, is swept alone with a group of fairies on their way back to the fair, where he meets this king and his wife and realizes these people around him are spirits of the dead. They force him to dance until he passes out, and he wakes up the next morning in a stone circle covered in bruises. So, what do y'all think of this? I found this very interesting, actually. But yeah, but that is it for this episode. Join me next week next time as I talk about the Petrified Forest, Blood Money, Danvers State Hospital, and a Tenny's Grey Court Castle, along with a stay at Liberty in Independence